Anthony Davis had more attitude with me and Stephen A. today before the game than he actually did in the game.
He had attitude with me? I thought that was you. I mean, I just ignored them. I ignored them.
My point is that's fine. But it's no way that Jokic, and I was just talking to Bob about this, he was playing this game with a certain level of passion and tenacity. Did you see it on his face, a guy that never shows emotion?
Many months later.
Wow, great performance made by Anthony Davis last night. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Anthony Davis humbling the Minnesota Timberwolves big time. The Lakers were able to defeat the Timberwolves by the score of 110-103 last night. Anthony Davis put up 36 points as he had another double-double in his NBA career. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. Were you impressed with Anthony Davis' performance for the Lakers? Of course, I was impressed with Anthony Davis, although I'm not going to say this is the most impressive performance ever in NBA history. We all know Anthony Davis is capable of putting up numbers at a high volume. Anthony Davis, when he is on, is one of the best players in the NBA. Anthony Davis, when he is entirely focused on basketball and when he is healthy, can turn into prime Shaq. Obviously, what Anthony Davis did last night was special. He took over the game for the Los Angeles Lakers last night, and without Anthony Davis, the Lakers get blown out of the gym. This was JJ Redick's head coaching debut as well, so I bet JJ Redick is probably really happy with Anthony Davis right now, because what Anthony Davis was able to do for the Lakers last night was extremely impressive. This guy was scoring in the paint at will. This guy was being a great defensive presence for the Lakers, and it seems like he took his Defensive Player of the Year robbery personal. I say it was robbery because he probably deserved to win Defensive Player of the Year last year or for the last several years. The man has been one of the best defenders in the entire NBA, and yet he keeps losing out on this award to Rudy Gobert. Obviously, Anthony Davis and Rudy Gobert got to go head-to-head yesterday, and Rudy Gobert got cooked. Now, Rudy Gobert did get a double-double in the game, but if you actually watched the game like I did, then you would have realized that Rudy Gobert was getting absolutely destroyed by Anthony Davis in the paint. Anthony Davis was shot blocking at every turn, and even when he didn't block shots in the paint, he altered shots, which meant it was harder for the Minnesota Timberwolves to hit their shots. Now, granted, there might be a different story out there had the Lakers lost this ball game. The storyline of this game would have been, oh, look at how the Lakers are an absolute joke with JJ Redick at the head coach position. But Anthony Davis saved the Los Angeles Lakers from having to get to talk about that. Anthony Davis did a great job scoring the ball at will. He was supposed to be the first option for the Lakers this year, and he did absolutely that. I love the way how JJ Redick utilized Anthony Davis in his sets. JJ Redick looked like a very qualified coach out there for a guy with no experience. I thought JJ Redick did an excellent job getting the most out of Anthony Davis. Now, do I believe this will be sustainable for Anthony Davis? No, because Anthony Davis stands for what? Always ding. Always ding means that you're always getting injured all the time. Anthony Davis, for most of his NBA career, has always been injury prone, and I don't expect that trend to change anytime soon. Anthony Davis has been in the NBA for more than a decade, and I don't expect trends to all of a sudden change. Anthony Davis at some point will probably get hurt for the Lakers, and let's be very honest about this Lakers roster. It's really only a few guys deep, and outside of that, it's just filled with scrubs all over the place. Anthony Davis is a great player, don't get me wrong. LeBron James, he's still got a strong game heading into year 21, although he didn't have a great game last night for the Lakers. And then, of course, they've got Rudy Hachimura. He's a solid role player, and then the rest, yeah, I don't really care a whole lot for the Lakers in general. Maybe D'Lo can provide you some spark in the starting lineup, but he's not really a consistent player. The point is, the Lakers supporting cast is not really all of that to begin with, and LeBron James is not the player that he once was. He's still an all-time great player, don't get me wrong, but he's no longer in peak LeBron mode. And then I also want to talk about what JJ Redick said about Anthony Davis. I love how he absolutely praised the guy in his press conference after the game. I thought what he said was very accurate. Roll the film.
AD was phenomenal tonight. Felt like he attacked the game the right way. He was patient. There were times, and I've said this, like we're trying to look for throw-aheads after misses and makes, and there's times he's just going to be training the play and we're attacking early, and he may go 3 or 4 possessions without getting it. And that doesn't mean we call a play for him and he forces a shot. He doesn't, he just plays the game the right way. But I thought overall, beyond just, him anchoring our defense, our guys really did a phenomenal job of executing our game plan.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
There you go, JJ Redick. Good job for not being a homer and giving LeBron James all the credit in the world. At least you actually went out there in the press conference and gave Anthony Davis credit like a real man would. Obviously, Anthony Davis feels very pissed off that he was not voted to win Defensive Player of the Year last year because he came out there with a vengeance. Anthony Davis took over the game unlike anything I had ever seen before. And Anthony Davis, obviously, you look at how Anthony Davis played like an MVP candidate. 36 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks. The man was all over the place. The man took over like an absolute superstar, and he earned every penny of that contract yesterday. Anthony Davis looked like a man possessed, and obviously Bronny James, he got to make his debut in the NBA as well. Predictably, Bronny James sucked when he was in the game, but you know what? The Minnesota Timberwolves were down by 15 points when Bronny James came in, so it ended up not really mattering whatsoever. The point is LeBron James and Bronny James got to make history as a father-son duo. Of course, that was a sham, but I just wanted to note that because it is a footnote in NBA history. You also look at the fact how the Minnesota Timberwolves missed a lot of wide open shots in that game. You look at how the Timberwolves were supposed to be title contenders heading into this year. Some people were picking the Timberwolves to come out of the Western Conference this year, and they did not play like a team that was ready to contend in the Western Conference. Anthony Edwards had a great game, don't get me wrong, but the other role players for the Minnesota Timberwolves left a lot to be desired. I needed to see more from Julius Randle than what he provided last night. Mike Conley was basically a no-show. Naz Reid was pretty good, but he's a bench player, and Dante DiVincenzo did his thing. But outside of those guys, the rest of the team did not show up whatsoever. If the Minnesota Timberwolves want to ever become a title contending team, they're going to need more contributions from the role players. That was unacceptable. That was a bad loss for the Minnesota Timberwolves. You've been talking about you want to become title contenders. Anthony Edwards has been talking about wanting to become the face of the NBA, and you lay an egg against the Los Angeles Lakers, a team that I didn't even pick to make the play-in tournament, let alone the NBA playoffs. That's a game you have to win on the schedule. I know it's one game, and I know that the Timberwolves, they can get it together, but that's not a good look whatsoever. It's pretty clear Anthony Davis just humbled the Timberwolves big time, and that you're going to need a lot more than just Anthony Edwards in order to become a title contending team. Anthony Davis exposed the Timberwolves' flaws big time, and now it's making you wonder, why did they trade Karl-Anthony Towns in the first place? They sure could have used his presence last night, but that's another story for another day. Anthony Davis played phenomenal basketball for the Lakers, and if you're a Lakers fan, you're hoping these performances can continue to become a trend and not just a mirage. I don't think it's going to be a trend though. I think it's just going to be something that Anthony Davis does every once in a while. I don't believe it's going to be sustainable. We'll see what happens though. Ultimately though, I'm not convinced that the Lakers are a great basketball team just yet. I still need to see more from the other role players before I am going to be convinced this Lakers team is going to be worth something in the year of 2025. So that is why I was impressed with AD's performance against the Timberwolves as he played like an MVP candidate for the Lakers. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I'm going to shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinTran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.